Okay. So just to let people know, right now I'm expecting Brittany. She did let me know that she was going to be arriving late, and I haven't heard from Barbara, so she might be coming late. But for right now, it's just Shelby and I did ask Shelby for permission to record. So at this point, we're recording with just Shelby and I, and because Brittany did say that she was going to be late, I'm just going to start because I want to start on time so we're not staying too long. So Shelby's assured me she doesn't mind being the center of the universe for the moment. So if you don't mind, while we're starting, if you could just sort of check in, did anything come up for you over the week after doing the work we did last week?
No, I kind of went over some things. It was that thing that you said, if somebody says something bad to you, you remember the bad, in a conversation. And that really reflected on that. And I thought, how true. I can talk to somebody for 30 minutes, but there's one sentence in there that I remember. It's the wrong sentence.
Yep. Exactly. I'm trained as a teacher, and that's one of the things that they talk about so much is you'll be having a great class. One student will do one thing. All the attention goes there. When you leave, that's what sticks in. And it's that whole thing about that Rick Hansen describes about. Hi, Barbara.
Hi. How's
Welcome.
everybody?
Good. Hey, just want to check in with you. I've got this recording. Just want your permission.
Sure.
Okay, great. We started, and I was asking Shelby if anything stood out for her during the week, and she was saying that the part about focusing on if one person says one negative thing, even if you've been talking for 30 minutes, that one negative thing sticks. And yeah, just saying that all the research, all the brain research shows that we are just so focused on protecting ourselves that that's what sticks. And it really takes a lot of focus to move beyond that. Yeah.
It does. It really does.
Absolutely.
I've been trying for years, so.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it does help for me anyway to know that the science affirms that, and that there is a way to actually sort of shift that negative bias. That's helpful to me. But yeah, it is. It's crazy. And beating myself up mercilessly because I said one thing that one person reacted to, and everybody, it's crazy. Well, anything else come up for you this week, Shelby?
Well, I was just thinking about that negativity. That's one of the things I think that one of the reasons I signed up for this class in creativity. You're not here anymore. You're not in America anymore. Be thankful. I mean, everything is so negative all the time. It just gets to the point where it's draining me. Yeah, absolutely. Oh God, I know. I mean, my family's still in the States. We're actually going to be in Massachusetts in Northampton for Christmas because my son's partner is there. So we're going to be back there. And it's sort of like, I want to just put myself in a bubble because of the negativity. It's, I don't want to get political because, although I'm incredibly political, because I can't, when I'm wearing my professional hat, I don't want to, offend anyone or whatever, but shit, it's like, how is this happening? It is so bad.
Yeah.
It is.
I just wake up in the morning and keep thinking, okay, I've just been asleep. It's just been a dream for 2 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mean, and I don't like meanness.
Yeah. Really mean-spiritedness for the fact, hatred for hatred's sake, it's horrible.
And every artist I talk to says they're really having a tough time right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you look at the link, Shelby, that I sent about the artists summit with Nicole? Yeah, you can sign up for that if you haven't. You can sign up for it and just pick and choose because some of it's about monetizing your work. But that's only one small side of it. There's other ones about getting past that, the negativity, and just as creatives, our spirit gets quenched. It's like we just get shoved down because, in my opinion, to be in that creative space, to be in that open space, there has to be an open-heartedness and a vulnerability. And yet when you're in the realm of what's out there, how can we stay in that open-hearted space when there's so much, oh, yeah, garbage, hatred, horrible stuff. The stuff that went on in Pittsburgh, where that level of anti-Semitism is like, really? Are we really here?
Well, at least they got a little sympathy, unlike some of the rest of the folks that have been going through it.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
That actually shocked me, and I thought I heard, was it Sarah Huckabee talking about it in tears? You know, she's usually so belligerent about everybody else that gets hurt or killed, you know?
Exactly.
You know, what's, you know, why?
Exactly.
You know, an innocent is an innocent. Why
Exactly.
does it make that much difference? What's wrong with you guys?
Exactly. That exactly, and that level of hatred toward anyone. But once again, it's sort of like, well, okay, these guys are a little bit different, but not completely different. So they're a little bit marginalized, but not really marginalized. So we can accept that. And then, of course, there's Jared and Ivanka. So, you know, we can say that they're sort of on our team, but, you know, then there's the other people that they're really different. It's
I think the big guy would throw Gerald and Ivanka under the bus too if it suited his purposes. I'm sorry, it's not.
I agree. I agree. It's horrible. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. Ugh, it's just yuck. Anyway, so we'll all shake that off and move on to the next piece. But yeah, exactly. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. And one of the things I'm writing an article right now. I'm a regular contributor to Ariana Huffington's new magazine, Thrive Global, and I'm writing an article right now about well-being and how to stay in well-being when there's insanity everywhere around and this level of hatred and negativity. So anyway, moving to the next piece. So Barbara, you've already checked in a bit, but did anything come up for you from last week, or anything you want to share about?
Well, no, I went back and did the visualization, and you know, I mean, it was just like it was kind of like gone. So, you know, I really didn't get too far. I got a little bit farther, you know, but it was like the moment was just kind of gone for me, and I wasn't able to enter in the way I wanted to, but
right.
It was fine though.
Okay. And remember, there is that link of just creating sacred space that's on my YouTube page that you can go back to, and it's just very similar to what we did, not quite as focused on you guys because it's more generic. But okay,
the link to the one we didn't work, so
right. Yeah, no, sorry. I do have a recording now, and the next one will be more focused. So, and you know, and what I always tell everybody I'm working with when I'm doing visualizations is that some days will be amazing and colorful and connected, and other days nothing. You know, I can't even get in my body. So we just keep trying, and that's one of the things in this article that I've been researching. There's a wonderful man; he's one of my heroes, Dr. Richie Davidson from UW-Madison, and he's a neuroscientist and a meditator, and he talks a lot about hooking in through meditation and how that can actually impact our brain. And it's one of the few places that I keep going back to and thinking, okay, if I can just focus here. Anyway, so today what I talked about is in the email and on Facebook is we're going to be focusing on overcoming the obstacles. We talked about that last week, and moving towards sense of purpose. When we were talking last week with everybody, people were really focusing a lot on creativity, which actually, again, in the neuroscience, they talk a lot about creativity being a great way to connect with that sense of purpose. So I really want to connect in with that as well. So I'm going to, if it's okay, I will, although it's very quiet where you guys are, I'm going to mute you for a second and just talk a little bit about power and moving toward purpose, and then I'll unmute you from that, if that's okay. Okay.
Okay.
So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about with, and there's Brittany. I'm going to unmute. Hi, Brittany, you're here. Are you here? Great. So before, I was just about to launch into what I was going to be talking about with heart-centered goal setting and moving toward purpose. But real quick, can we check in with you? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks. I'm sorry I was late.
No worries. No worries at all. You had told me you were going to be late, so we started, but we haven't really gotten into it. So just wanted to check in with you, and don't worry, it's never a problem. So you can breathe. We were talking about politics anyway, which is. And so, anything come up for you from last week?
I took time to do self-care, but I didn't do a lot of journaling. So I think there's some resistance with actually writing, but when I did journal, I did feel good afterwards, like releasing some things I needed to release, I guess. I just needed to write them down. So
great.
I would like to do more journaling.
Okay, great. If I can just say one thing, and I will link you guys a link to a couple of her videos. But what I really want to say, and I hope you all hear, is there are no shoulds in this workshop. I really want you to know that, if you don't journal, or if you don't watch a video, or if you don't read a thing, if you do absolutely nothing, that's all fine. And the fact that you're doing any self-care actually makes my heart sing. Honestly, one of the things that, if I could recommend more than anything else, is just radical self-care and radical self-compassion, taking care of ourselves and really focusing on that with absolutely no shoulds. I don't want you guys shoulding on yourselves at all. So if just to really keep that in mind, please. And I will send some great links about radical self-care and radical self-compassion, which I think we all desperately need. So just to throw that out there. Anything that I give you guys or suggest is just, here's a couple of ideas if you want to try them. Certainly there is no such thing as, homework in the realist sense. So anything else before I meet you guys and start talking a little bit about what we're going to work on next? And then, bless you. We're going to actually be doing some journaling in a bit, Brittany, but even that you don't have to do. Okay, so what I want to talk about is the whole idea of engaging in life, really moving toward life, and what that looks like. So getting awareness around our purpose, getting aware of what we're wanting to move toward. And in my book, I talk about that through goal setting, but also through just getting quiet time and thinking, where is it that my passion is leading me? Where am I wanting to move toward? And that takes time. It's not clear, and especially when we're busy with young kids or with grandkids, a lot of time there's not a lot of room for that. So again, this is nothing to beat yourself up about. But moving toward that sense of purpose, that power. So one of the things that I really want to emphasize today is about getting excited while you're working with that higher self, really touching in with that passion and saying, ooh, what gets me excited, and paying attention when we are meditating or visualizing. And again, it's sort of like that. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of somatic work. Somatic work being in touch with our body. And there's a lot, that's a real catchphrase now is therapists do a lot of somatic work, and we're taught to sort of be in touch with our body. So getting in touch with our body enough through that somatic work about when do I start thinking about something and my heart starts beating a bit more, or I think, oh, that's exciting, and feeling the tingles in our body, feeling when I'm going from, oh, I feel really light and excited versus, oh, I feel heavy and stuck. And so paying attention to that, because that somatic attention actually leads us toward that, that idea of sense of purpose. Our body can tell us this stuff. And so having that quiet time where we can hook into it. Because if we don't have the quiet time, if we don't sit still enough, we don't know. We're too busy and we can't pay attention to that. So that's one of the things I say, this is great that you're here for this hour and a half once a week, if nothing else, because at least you're focusing on you. So if you do nothing else, yay, yay you. So the other thing is that once we get that quiet time and we start focusing on that sense of purpose and what we're drawn toward, really learning to focus on that end result and taking action, getting guidance. I don't know how many of you are aware of Notes from the Universe. Do you guys get Notes from the Universe with Mike Dooley? They're great, light, simple, but they're a wonderful little spark to go, oh, and they're sort of humorous. I'll send you guys a link so you can sign up if you want. Once a day in the morning, you get a note from the universe giving you a little bit of uplifting guidance. Anyway, one of the things that he talks about is don't worry about how you're going to get there. Don't worry about getting stuck in the minutia of, oh, well, that's all well and good. That's where I want to be. But how? How do I get there? How can I? Blah, blah, blah. And we'll get so stuck in that we lose sight of the magic and the excitement. So what I'm wanting to talk about here is getting in touch with that passion and excitement. Being open to the surprises along the way. Being open to the journey as we're going. And acting from excitement and joy and not from fear. And that really ties in with what we were talking about before you came, Brittany, when we were talking about politics. There's so much fear being stirred right now. There's so much fear when there's a desire to control. That's what gets stoked, is the fear. Be afraid, be very afraid. And we lose sight of touching in with that softer, more passionate part. So we're also going to be talking about the power of why being part of how to get that excitement and feel that somatic tingling. So I talked about that in my book as well, that power of why, which I think is so important. So we're going to be aligning ourselves with outcome, thinking about how you would act and feel if these things were really happening for you, moving past the limiting beliefs of I can't get there, and just showing up with that excitement. So we're going to be moving to journals in just a minute, but for now I want to unmute you and just ask, talking about all those things that I set out for you. Any questions? Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Who's this? Brittany, who's this?
Oh, this is my son.
Hi.
Aw.
How are you? That's strange. I know. This is a strange thing going on. So with all that said, any questions about that? Do you know where I'm leading to with all that? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And as I said, I will send a link to the Notes from the Universe because they're kind of a fun way to work. So getting your journals ready, I'll put on some music in a minute. What I want you to do is I want you to be focusing on 5 areas. So if you can just make a note of this: home, health, finances, relationship, and self and well-being. So finances and / career, those might be together, those might be separate for you. Career or rather self and well-being, that would be about finding that peace within. If you don't want to focus on career, you can instead replace that with creativity. If you're looking for that way to get back in touch with creativity, that's a great area to focus on. So home, health, finances, relationship, and then perhaps creativity, self or well-being in there. And what I want you to do is I want you to, when I'll turn on some music in a minute, and I'm going to give you about 5 or 6 minutes. I want you to write one thing you'd like to achieve with each one of those. However, with that said, if you feel a lot more warmed up, for example, around self and well-being, and you're feeling, I feel, my home's fine, I'm healthy, that's all peachy. I really want to focus on my own well-being. That's fine. What I want you to do is focus on what you're feeling warmed up to, okay? And I want you to write about one goal, one dream, one intention from each of those, or really focusing on one. We're going to do that, as I said, for about 5 or 6 minutes, or as long as you need, and then we'll come back and share. Everybody clear on that? Okay. I'm going to put on some music. Tell me if it's too tinny, too loud, too soft as I put it on now. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Great. Okay, I just wanted a sort of background, and it's hard for me to tell what's translating to you guys. So I'm going to mute you. I'm going to time you. Please go. Have fun with it. Play with color. I don't know what you guys have, but when I do this, I'm using all of my colors. Your brain loves color. Your brain gets excited with symbols. You don't have to make a little list. Draw a picture. It may just be spirals, doing something that evokes that passion for you, okay? Okay, one more minute to finish up where you are, whatever you're working on now. One more minute. Okay. All right. If we could come back into group. All right, great. So if you could just share any one or many of those, it would be great. Which did you feel more warmed up to one of those areas than another? And yeah, just what came up for you when you were doing that? Who would like to start?
I'll start.
Thanks.
Some of mine kind of fell together. When I did home, I'm in the process of, I've got a little art studio that I'm in. There's no background now because I'm getting ready to paint it and do some furniture changing. So that finishing my art studio and then with creativity, get my studio the way I like it and go back in here to create because I haven't liked this place ever since we moved in. So I'm making my space, which ties in home and creativity. You know, the other ones, you know, I've always been very active. Injured my hip a few months ago and really haven't been active. So it's like, okay, the hip's better. Get back into the world again.
Right.
I love that. It's really about it.
Okay, great. That's a wonderful one to be focusing on. Brittany or Barbara, who wants to go next?
I will share that, like thinking about the end goal. I felt a little stuck, but I did write down a few things. So with my home, I would like to be able to be home, actually be home more. I've been at work a lot, and so in the near future, I mean, I will be home a lot the next couple months, but I would like to see me moving towards that, like working from home for the next like 5 years versus working outside of the home. And then making time to be with my kids more, and maybe even spend some time in my garden, which I haven't done at my house at all. With my health, I wrote strong, vibrant energy, and I wrote down dance because it's something that excites me and scares me, but it excites me. And finances and career and creativity, there is a calling, there is a desire to write a book. So maybe moving towards that. As far as my relationship and myself, I didn't really get very far with that, but
It's fine. Wherever you're warmed up. Great. All right. Thanks. How about you, Barbara?
Well, I wrote, home. That's my place of comfort and creativity, and it's my base of operations. So my goal is just to work towards well-ordered comfort, and one of my dreams and intentions is to eventually move to California. So health, to radically improve my health and well-being. I used to be really decently fit, and I've had a lot of injuries and illnesses and things like that. So I'm working on that. Finances, just to become financially free, and self-employment is one of the things that I have wanted to do since forever.
Mm.
Haven't made it there yet, but I'm working on that. Relationships, I didn't have much there. Just to be, a better someone that people want to be with, and vice versa. Find good people that I want to be with. That we can feed each other creatively and mentally, stimulate each other and things like that. Self and well-being. I have really just been working on trying to be comfortable with myself, and trying to practice more self-acceptance in the hopes that other people will maybe accept me better that way. But if they don't, then I want to be comfortable enough in myself that I just don't let that bother me, and let it break me back down to a lesser version of myself. And I see all those things as working together for me to get me to that next level.
Yeah. Good insights. Yeah, absolutely. So with that said, and with all of that, what I want you to do, because this will lead into the visualization, what I'd like you to do is focus on the one that really speaks to you, that you feel the most energy for. And I want you to write down why. Why is it important? And try and dig down to the ultimate why. Sort of, instead of saying, with mine, to have more time and space for creativity. Why? Because it feels good. Go deeper, Patty. Why? Until I can get to the point where I say, because I know that when I am in that place of creativity and and I'm linked to that flow, that's when I feel my most vibrant. That's when I feel like I'm tingling and alive, and that I know that is what really brings and enhances that well-being. So see if you can find that one, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to identify it and to say why it's important. So I'll give you a couple of minutes now.
Mom.
Okay. Finish whatever it is that you're writing on at this moment. And yeah, I will unmute you. And Brittany, if you need to mute it all, that's fine. When I'm doing big stuff, I'll mute, but
Okay.
otherwise it doesn't bother us. But if you ever feel like you need to, feel free. That
Okay.
you just came out of mute, so it was fine. And the reason that we focus on the why, again, just keep in mind, is that the why has been proven in neuroscience to help overcome obstacles. Again, it helps us get in touch with that somatic sense of self and helps us move toward passion, toward purpose, when we can get in touch with that emotional trigger. So that's why I'm asking you to do this. There's some great research behind this that really helps us focus in on that. So before we move into the visual meditation and visualization, if you guys could just tell me a little bit about the one that you chose and the why. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but it helps to be witnessed and to be supported.
I chose home, and I chose that because I feel safe. I just feel safer, and I feel more energized when I'm in my own space, and I can create beauty. I really enjoy decorating and just being in a beautiful space that is my own. So that's the one I really feel the why for.
Excellent. Okay, great. Barbara, you want to go next?
Well, I did, self and well-being, because that's the thing that, that will free me, I believe, to do the things that make me the happiest. And that's what feeds into my creativity. I don't always feel free to create what I want to create, or to you know to be where I want to be and live the lifestyle that I want to live and things like that. So um you know take for instance, I've always said I was born on the wrong coast, because I hate winter. So I was born in Ohio, in the Midwest. So and hence my desire to move. I've never really wanted to live in California before, but someone told me that San Diego was a wonderful place to live, and I did some research on it and things like that. So now that's where I want to go. So,
Awesome.
so yeah,
Okay.
that's what will drive my happiness, is just being free to be myself completely.
Excellent. Awesome. Thanks. And how about you, Shelby?
Mine is Create a Space, which is my art studio that's comfortable and inspires creativity. Why? Because creativity and art is my passion, and I can spend hours on a project, and at the end of the day, I feel totally energized, as opposed to doing nothing or doing crap all day and feeling drained.
Absolutely. Yeah, good insight and accurate. It feeds us, and that level of energy that we're feeling, that somatic connection to energy, is a wonderful illustration of that connection. And so when we can actually be in touch with ourselves enough to notice, wow, I feel charged, and I've been doing this for 7 hours, and I'm just buzzed. Great to notice that and realize it. So, any other comments or questions before we go into the visualization? What I'm going to do is similar to last time. I will put a candle flickering on the screen so that you can focus on that, and you won't be bothered by any movement on the screen. I'll also mute everyone, so don't worry if there's noise in your background. And I'll put on some music softly in the background for you to hear, but hopefully not be too tinny or bothersome. It's hard to find that perfect balance. So any questions before I mute you guys and lead into the visualization? Anything you need to bring up before we do that? Cool. All right, I'm muting you so you know. And all right, I will bring up the candle now and put that up so that you can watch that as you wish, and putting on some music. And all right, so getting comfortable now, moving into a comfortable position, whether that's sitting comfortably in your chair or lying on a bed or lying on the floor. Just make sure that your head is supported in case you get fully relaxed and your head falls back. You want something to be supporting your head so it doesn't bring you out of this. And when you're ready to do so, closing your eyes and taking a deep breath in and out. And in and out. And a final breath in and out. And as you're releasing this last big breath, feeling any tension, just leaving your body now as you fully relax. And now starting with your feet, Feeling your toes start to relax, maybe tensing your feet a little bit and then releasing them so that if there's any residual tension in your feet, you can let it go. And moving up from your toes to the balls of your feet and your arches and your heels. Feeling any tension just fade away as we go up to our ankles, our calves, and our shins. Going up to your knees and your thighs so that your legs are feeling heavy now as they relax. Your legs feeling heavy and relaxed as you go up to your hips and your abdomen. And letting go as you go up each vertebrae, one by one, as your back just completely relaxes now. Moving up now to your shoulders. We often hold tension in our shoulders, so really allow yourself to let go. Almost as though your shoulders were made of warm wax. And the wax drips down now, dripping down your arms, as your upper arms and your elbows, your lower arms and your wrists. Just let go and relax. Perhaps your arms feel heavy as you let go. Just allow them to feel heavy and supported. Perhaps your hands feel warm and tingly as your arms relax. And just let go. Coming back up now to your neck, those final vertebrae going up into the base of your skull. Feeling the tingling in your scalp as each hair follicle relaxes as you let go. Coming around now to your face, the muscles in your forehead and the small muscles around your eyes, just let go. Perhaps your mouth falls open as you let go of any tension that you might feel in your jaw. As your face and your head, your neck and shoulders, back and abdomen, hips, legs and feet, just completely relax now as you let go. Know that you're completely supported and you can just let go now. And now in this state of relaxation, I want you to see a set of stairs. And as you go down these stairs, you become more and more relaxed as you step down. Going down 10, 9, 8, becoming more and more relaxed as you go down. 7, 6, 5, more and more relaxed as you go down. 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now completely relaxed. And in front of you, I want you to see a door. And in your mind's eye, open this door and close it behind you. And you're now back in that wide open meadow. That meadow of infinite potential. You recognize this meadow and know that you can come here anytime when you're needing to feel inspired. Noticing the wildflowers and noticing the green grass as it waves gently in the breeze. Walking through the meadow now, you see the path. And you remember this path, and you know that this path will take you back to your creative space, to that sacred space that you created last week. Allow yourself to walk on that path now through the dappled sunlight as you come to that same space that you created last week. Now perhaps your mind is taking you to a new space, and that's fine too. Just trust that wherever your inspiration has taken you, it's absolutely perfect. Open the door now and step in and take a look around, and perhaps you recognize it, or perhaps it's changed, and that's fine. Notice the color on the walls. Notice the floor. And now, walk through this space to come back to that creative chair that you created, or perhaps there's a new chair. Whatever comes to you is fine. Sit in that chair now and feel completely enveloped and relaxed now. Sit in that chair now, feeling completely relaxed in that chair. This is your creative chair. Feels really comfortable to be here. Once again, I want you to see that screen in front of you, shimmering screen, and I want you to pick up the same remote control at the table next to you. Pick up the remote control, aim it at the screen, and press the button. And now that shimmering screen turns to blue, and press another button, and now you are on the screen. There you are. See yourself on that screen. Notice what you're wearing. Notice where you are. Now I want you to see yourself now in that space that you described earlier, that space that you want to be. And you know why you're there. You feel that power there. See yourself happy. See yourself feeling so good and powerful in that space. And now I want you to pause, step up from the chair, and walk over to that screen, and I want you to step into that screen. You are now stepping into the screen and stepping into your body. You are now in your body, achieving that which you were wanting to achieve, whether it's creating a space or a home or feeling that sense of well-being, doing that which you are longing to do. Feel how good it feels in your body, achieving that which you've set out to do. You know why. You can feel that why as you're achieving it. You can feel it in your body. You feel the energy. You feel the passion. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes now as you go through this. Pay attention. Notice what's going on as you're doing this. Notice any sensations in your body. Notice any colors. Notice anything that comes up as you are doing this. Notice in your body that sense of well-being when you are doing that which you know ignites you. Creating the space, being in the space, feeling that connection to that deepest self. Now, while you're in there, take a last look around. See if there's anything that you want to remember. And now pause and step out of your body. Step down from the screen. And go back to your chair. And as you're sitting in the chair looking at yourself on the screen, take a last look. Remember some key pieces that you can bring back with you. Perhaps it's a color. Perhaps it's a symbol. Perhaps a sound. Just remember. And now pick up the remote control and switch it off. And now you disappear from the screen. It goes back to the shimmering screen. Know that you can go back here anytime and put anything on that screen to help you focus on. And now stand up from that chair. Walk back through that creative, sacred space. And look around, one last look around to know that you can come back here anytime to help you focus, to help you create, to connect with your inspiration and your intuition. This space is here for you anytime. And now walk back through the door. Walk down the path. Coming now into the dappled sunlight and opening into the bright sun, now into the wide open meadow, that infinite potential. Take a last look around the meadow as you walk across. And now you're back to the door. Seeing that door in front of you, open the door, close it behind you, and now you see the steps. And you're going to climb those steps to come back into yourself, climbing 1, 2, 3, feeling your chair now in your body, body on the chair, feeling your fingers and your toes, 4, 5, 6, becoming more aware of the room that you're in, 7, 8, wiggle your fingers and your toes as you come back into yourself, 9 and 10, back into your body, back into the room. And what I want you to do now is I want you to go to your journal and back into your journal. And back into the space to write anything that happened that you want to remember. Perhaps it's a color. Perhaps it's a word, a symbol. I'll give you a couple of minutes now to jot down anything that came to you. before we come back into group. Okay, just finish up what you're writing just so you can keep it fresh in your mind. And okay, I will unmute you. And if you could finish writing whatever is up for you. Once again, I apologize. It's already after 2 p.m. Hopefully that's not a problem for any of you guys. I really do try and keep it to an hour, but it never is. So if that's a problem for anybody, I do apologize. I just hate pulling people out of visualization too quickly. I just find that space, even when I'm leading it, I find that space just so luscious. Okay, so can I hear from you guys? How was it? Did anything come up during the visualization? Anything you want to share or bring to the group?
I figured out the paint color for my studio.
That's good. What color is it?
Kind of a pumpkin color.
Ooh, nice.
It's burnt, kind of a burnt orange.
Okay. Is that something you were thinking of before, or did you just see it and decide that was it?
Our bedroom was painted that color at one time. So I guess I went back to it because I like that. It's a very calming color, but also vibrant color.
Cool. Very cool. Anything else come up for you, Shelby? Okay, great.
Very relaxing.
Good. If nothing else, that's bliss. Even if you fall asleep, that's fabulous.
Very true.
How about you, Barbara?
Well, for me, we got down the steps. The door to the outside was red. Got through the meadow. The door back inside was red. I went to my chair. That was red. And I got to the screen, and the walls and everything was red. But I just got a sense of power, when I got inside myself, and I felt, really comfortable within myself. So that's what I remember.
Awesome. Yeah, and you made a note of that? You made a note of all that red? Okay, good. Yeah, well, red is like that power place. That's our, first chakra power zone. So that's interesting that all that red came. So it is our power color. So very interesting. Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Brittany?
I saw a new home, like a new possibility of space with just wide open spaces. I felt like there was a lot of green. There was a lot of nature. It felt like almost at first, like when I was stepping in, it was like I was still in nature, but it was almost like a tent, but nature and the walls were kind of integrated. I don't know how to explain it. It just felt like more like camping versus being in a concrete or like a wooden home. It felt more, I don't know, just light and lots of green, lots of plants, and just feeling like that lots of spaciousness.
Awesome. Awesome. That ties in too with your gardening and your sort of indoor outdoor. Very cool. Awesome. And green is more of an openness. It's also, green is the color of our fourth chakra and love. And so that would fit as well around home and hearth and love. So that makes sense as well. I have a dear friend who's an artist who never ever sees colors in her visualizations. She's an amazing artist and does wonderful things with color, and she gets so frustrated because she says, all of my visualizations are black and white. So it gets her very frustrated. So what I would like to do for the rest of the week, I will send some links to you. Try and journal. Again, there is no shoulds here, but try and journal, because a lot of times after doing a visualization where we're focusing on this sort of passion and intention, things come up. And our intuition, as we all know, can be very subtle. You know, sometimes the subtlety, it's like, come on, can't you just give me a burning bush? So paying attention, you know, maybe seeing that pumpkin color somewhere and seeing if that evokes something. Other notions around red, around gardening, around green. Just paying attention, because intuition comes to us in different ways around that. Also, if you're drawn to, in my book on page 208, there's the Ideal Life exercise, and that's a wonderful thing to follow this visualization up with if you have a chance. It's about writing, just describing in as much detail as possible, but only so you're having fun with it. It's not about feeling like, oh, an assignment. It's about having fun, really writing. What does this ideal life look like? How is my work-life balance looking when I'm having all of this sunshine in California and San Diego, and I see the water reflecting off of when I see the sunlight reflecting off of the water? What does that evoke in me? When I'm in this art space, how do I feel? So when you're writing this ideal life, really bringing up those evocative images. So that's on 208 if you want to do that. That's another piece to sort of stretch this into sort of going beyond that. I will also send the link from my YouTube page about goal setting if you want to redo this one. This was drawn more for you guys, but you can redo if you want to do it again and have something leading you. I'll also send a couple of articles that I've written around finding purpose if you want to delve further into that. And I'll send those in an email and put it on our Facebook page. So I'll send all of those. Again, especially Brittany, you know, with young kids and being pregnant, you don't got to do any of it. You know, really that radical self-compassion. It's just there as tools if you choose to follow up on it. Another thing that's really important to mention here, especially for the people that are participating in New Zealand and Australia. This weekend, those of you in America, you guys fall back this weekend. Canada, gosh, we have a woman in Canada. I can't remember if you fall back or not, so I apologize. I'll look that up, but I'm sure you know if you do or not. So the time will not change for those of you in America. The time will not change. It will stay at 5 p.m. Western Pacific Standard Time. So you're going from Pacific Daylight Time to Pacific Standard Time. It will stay 5 p.m. For those of you in New Zealand and for those of you in Australia, we are going to be starting at 2 p.m. New Zealand time so that we can keep it on 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, Canada is, again, I'm not sure if you're falling back or not, but I will send this out. But just wanted to let you know. So it's especially important for New Zealand and Australia. We're going to be going ahead in New Zealand. We'll be starting at 2 p.m. instead of at 1 p.m. And Australia, you'll be going at 1 p.m. instead of 11 p.m. 1 p.m. instead of 11 a.m. But I'll write that down. So. Questions, comments, anything for everybody? Please do journal if you have the time and space. And I will send out all of these bits and pieces, and we'll come back and focus next week on week 3. I've got a few things that I have in mind, but I will let you know as they percolate and come to me. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.